This one is called hashtag Transcendent Health, adapting an LGB plus inclusive teen pregnancy prevention program for transgender boys.
Guys, just tell me what you think about this.
Can't even say this without laughing. Do you think that that is a useful form of our tax spend?
I'm not familiar with that grant, but I think bench research, government investment in scientific and
Teen
pharmaceutical
pregnancy
research.
for transgender
What?
boys. Do you think that that is a useful spend of our tax dollars?
What?
I think government investment in all kinds of scientific research is of the utmost importance.
Including pregnancy prevention for transgender boys. Okay.
This is, I don't know, guys. Just let me know what you think, okay? Now, I'm going to play the next video on the queue, and afterwards, I'm going to jump into the chat to say hi. So, guys, just let us know how your week was. And if you're watching, let's know where you're watching from if this is your first time. All right. And if you like the content that we push here, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. I see you guys chatting already. Let's just jump into the next video, and then we'll just connect.
I love being a part of it. I love being able to go out with my wife throughout the entire city and being able to say, hey, I put that sticker on that business. As of this morning, we have 129 different businesses. So a safe place is basically a business will get in contact with me. I'll come out to the location and go over the program. It's basically a safe place, essentially, for any victim of any hate crime whatsoever to come into the business, inform the business owners or the employees what happened to them, and then that business is responsible for keeping the victim in a safe public spot and then calling 911 on the behalf. Fun fact is that lipstick and chapstick are both part of Safe Place, but they're also one of the first ones when I came on to be the LGBTQ liaison, signed up to be a part of the Safe Place program. I think more now than ever, somebody needs to know that they're loved, whether it's within their blood family or within their chosen family. There's people out there for you, and to not be scared to live your full authentic self.
Yeah, so her job is to put stickers on the doors or walls or windows of businesses and mark them as safe for the alphabet community. Now, the problem people have had with the alphabet community has been multifaceted. There's the part that it's called an alternative lifestyle for a reason. It's alternative because that is not the way nature works. People who live that way get offended when people point that out. But it is simply the truth. Okay, it's simply the truth. And over the last 15 to 20 years or 25 years, that community has been empowered by leftists, especially the Democrats, by telling them, hey, we want to appear to show compassion towards people that we feel are oppressed and being attacked. And they want people to feel like that community is essentially being hunted and violently attacked, usually based on a handful of cases. And then they make that into a movement. And then they begin to write laws empowering these people. And would you say to me right now in the chat that those programs have been helpful to relationships between people who choose an alternative lifestyle and people who choose to live according to nature? I'm going to use that phrase, whatever. You should know what I mean. So I'm not going to pretend that my audience is stupid like the Democrats do. Now, let's jump into the chat, okay? Now, let's see. Let's see. Intergalactic Wrangler, it says he went to the lake today for a short kayak trip. Guys, people are living their best lives now. Intergalactic Wrangler is hunting game. He's processing his meat. He's going to the lake to kayak. Awesome. Let's see. They want to watch something. Okay, your family does. Okay, so I'm going to be, of course, giving you guys an update on what's been going on since yesterday. It's almost like it's been a roller coaster ride for me, and I'm going to give you guys an update at the very end of the show. Yeah, so I'm going to really try. If I sound tired, I don't know if I sound tired, but if I sound slower or tired, it's because I am. So let's go on to this next video. Stephen A. Smith, okay, was confronted by a caller, or not confronted, because he's Democrat, the caller on his show started, pushing out the usual talking points, that Democrats gave and from TDSBC and CNN. And he had this to say once the caller started.
In some of these people, Stephen.
Well, not all of them. Time. No. You don't get to do that. Don't talk to me about mental illness on the side of the right. But you have people talking about transgender without parental consent. And men transitioning to women and playing in women's sports and thinking that was okay, and people could be incarcerated and they could have sex changes and stuff like that. Oh, no. You don't get to sit up there and just point to the right about that and not act like there wasn't craziness on the left too. I'm a moderate who primarily votes Democrat. And I'm here to tell you something right now. I don't recognize this left. Or not this one. Not the one that I've been seeing over the last few years. I'm a moderate who will but dollars, meaning high taxes in California, New York, New Jersey. Okay, I'm a fiscal conservative with my money. I'm liberal with everything else. And I'm still appalled by how far left the left has leaned. It's disgraceful. No common sense. And oh, by the way, when you talk about woke culture and cancel culture, don't come to me with the Republicans. It wasn't the Republicans that was trying to get people fired for pronouncing the wrong pronoun. That's the left. And you're appealing to a community, and in the meanwhile, you're turning your back on black folks who supported you since the 60s. Don't get me started with all of that. I got a lot of problems with Trump. I got a lot of problems with some of the things that I've seen from the Republican side. Most recently and then more immediate is the Affordable Care Act and the fact that they still haven't had a plan. All these damn years you had an opportunity to have a plan. Then we still wait for the GOP to have a damn plan. You holding up everything, but you ain't got no damn plan. That's disgraceful. But I'm not going to act like it's just them. Oh, hell no. The left, the extreme left is what I'm talking about, not the moderate left. The extreme left is a damn problem.
Well, he has a point, and you and I have been talking about the fact that the GOP has been such a disappointment, and he's right on that count. Now, whether the issue is that Trump has a plan or doesn't have a plan, could it? I think he's painting the entirety of the Republican Party with the same brush. You have Trump coming in with his own plan. You have rhinos opposing him. You have the Democrat Party that is the Trump bad party right now, or let's just call them the Antifa Party, essentially attacking anything and everything that Trump tries to do, tying him down from doing anything. So you can't essentially blame him for that. But have there been missteps from the Trump administration? Yes, there have been. But is that grounds to call people on the right crazy? Are we the ones who have been pushing I just played you 2 videos just a few minutes ago, and that is what the Democrat Party has been standing for. And speaking about grievance politics, this week, the jury selection for the Carmelo Anthony case kicked off, and there was a very shameful display of racism coming from, surprise, surprise, the black people who showed up to support Carmelo Anthony and his family. Now, we're going to listen to a few videos because, like I said, it's okay for me to say it. And I have already been accused by people in my comments section of being a bootlicker. So, yum, I'm puckering up to lick some more boots. If telling the truth about a situation that personally in my own life I have lived through, okay, where most of the racism that I see comes primarily from the black community. There's, if you grew up around predominantly black people, they create these racial pockets. But tribalism is simply, or racism is simply tribalism based on skin color. So we see it already in the Black community. And in Africa, it is rampant. Like, there are so many tribes, and people literally in Africa, especially in Nigeria, elect presidents based on race. I'm going to call it that, okay? So that we're speaking the same language. If I say tribalism, it sounds like it's watered down. It doesn't sound as egregious as it should sound. But in Africa, people get elected based on race. In South Africa, it's happening right now in real time. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that the ANC has been in power for how many years now? Over 20 years. And they are stealing land from the white farmers, allowing them to get murdered. It's all there. And nobody wants to talk about it because, well, Black people can't be racist. But they are. They are routinely racist, not just to other races with skin pigmentation, but against their own race. Now, this case concerning the Carmelo Anthony murder of Metcalf, a teenager, I think this was last year, is going to court. Jury selection took place, and here is Savannah Hernandez asking questions about whether people are looking for justice. Okay, because when you have Black people out here, picketing outside of the court and talking about wanting justice, here's what they think justice is.
If evidence does come out that Carmelo was not in fact fighting for his life when he stabbed and killed Austin Metcalf, do you think that the Black community will accept that?
If evidence shows that he did not, no, we're going to stand by ours regardless. They stand by theirs.
So as far as this woman is concerned, of course, she's ghetto. Okay, she's I'm going to use, since it looks like I'm going to be going back to Nigeria and spending some time there, I'm going to break out some Nigerian wordage for people like this. We call them bush people. In Nigeria, they're called bush people. That means they're uncouth, they're unschooled, they are brash, they are ghetto, they don't know how the world works, and they can't even think beyond the next 5 minutes. They are bush people. She's standing here saying that even if the evidence points to the fact that Carmelo Anthony did murder Metcalf in cold blood and that there was no case for self-defense, she would still support him. That's the cancer in the Black community. Globally, it's everywhere. Okay, and maybe if I have time, I'll tell you some stories.
We're going to stand by ours regardless. I'm a mother first. I'm a Black mother. Let me put that on there. I'm an African-American mother. So I have to put away my color first and step into the motherhood. Nobody wants to see their child slain.
Now listen to her contradict herself.
So I do want to send prayers to Austin Metcalf, their family.
No, she has to say that so that what she's about to say doesn't sound as bad as it does.
But at the end of the day, I got to think like, okay, what did you do to him or whatever to cause this to happen, the reaction? So
the first question was, what if the evidence shows that there was no need for Carmelo Anthony to attack this individual, Metcalf, with a knife and kill him? And she does her best to twist an argument out of nothing and then arrive at, well, there has to be something that this guy did to provoke Carmelo to stab him. We just said, what if all the evidence shows there was no reason? All right. So it's essentially circular reasoning. Okay. They don't want to consider any option outside of that reasoning pattern that they've already crafted for themselves. As far as this crowd is concerned, Carmelo Anthony is innocent, and the white boy provoked him without any evidence to show that they did. The white guy is at fault. Carmelo Anthony is in the right for pulling out a knife. First of all, taking a weapon to an athletic meet, okay, pulling out a weapon and then stabbing somebody for asking him to simply leave a seating section that didn't belong to his group.
We got to start taking accountability for our kids. Because then again, if my kid, that's why it's a catch-22, if my kid was Carmelo and I feel like his back was up against the wall, well, I'm going to tell you straight up, better mine than yours. Better mine than yours. So either way it go, everybody loses.
And there's no evidence that Metcalf came to the meet with a weapon. So she's not making any sense.
A black boy allegedly murdered, and I say allegedly, heavy on the allegedly murdered somebody. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, this is about race. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, they wouldn't give a damn.
All right, so that is what this woman had to say. Okay, and I'm emphasizing had to say. Now, I'm going to read something from the screen. I have this open, and this is witness testimony. Okay, a state witness, Austin's track teammate, says Carmelo was asked to leave about 15 times. The prosecutor asked, "Did anyone try to gang up on him?" The witness said no. So already, this isn't looking good for Carmelo Anthony. It makes no sense that anyone would think that this is anything but cold-blooded murder. But the black people who are here protesting whatever the situation is, because they're claiming that because no black jurors have been selected, it's already a bad look. Well, when most of the black jurors are already tainted because all of them believe that since Carmelo Anthony is black, he's innocent, that's a problem. And that's the problem with racism. That's the problem with tribalism. It always produces these aberrations. People think that something is wrong simply because people are trying to get down to the bottom of a really bad situation, and everyone is simply saying, look, it's already a done deal because he killed a white person and therefore the white people are after him. That's just the situation that we're facing here. Now, one of the most shocking, now Savannah Hernandez is reporting, one of the most shocking things I witnessed today was this woman in pink screaming, "You're going to end up like Metcalf. You're going to be pushing up daisies." Like, these people are openly threatening murder or calling for the murder of anyone that looks like they are on the other side. This lady in pink, right? She's on the screen if you're watching, or if you're not watching or you're listening. Now, let's play a few of these short clips because she's screaming that over here. Yeah, so it's just unfortunate. Okay, it's just it's unfortunate that this is the kind of behavior that you see routinely when black people commit crimes and black communities don't hold them accountable. Here's another shot.
I'm gonna push you if I get close enough. Push you right into that crack. You heard what I said, cracker. Neanderthal, I don't give a fuck what you say. Y'all get fuck you, cracker. Fuck you, cracker. Fuck you, cracker. We gotta get out of the road. Let's get out of the road, please.
So if this was a white person using the N-word on him, TDSBC, CNN, ABC, everybody will be up against him. There will be all the woke leftist influencers online, playing and calling for the white guy to get canceled. And there will be people in Congress trying to push for more speech policing because, the black person was traumatized because they used the N-word. So why is it okay for a black person to use racial slurs against a white person, but God forbid any white person remotely even thinking of using the N-word is like the unpardonable sin. Your career is over, your life is over. Why is it normalized? Let me know in the chat.
Get out the road, please. You still a cracker? You still a cracker? You a cracker, motherfucker. You a cracker. You a cracker. He a cracker. You a cracker. You a cracker. You ain't gonna get me, cracker. They've been trying to get me, cracker. You ain't gonna get me, cracker. Cracker. You.
So I'm gonna say this, and then we'll just move on. The story is very disturbing. It's really disturbing, and sadly, it's being enabled by what people have called black culture. You have people who have essentially transferred grievance from one generation to another, telling the next generation that the white people are out to get them, that any white person you see is a problem and deserves to be put down. Now, there's a video of that same individual saying, like, I have to play it for you to actually believe that it was actually said. I think this is the one. Of course, did I catch that one? Okay, so I don't have that queued up, but this guy said the only good cracker is a dead one. All right, so I don't have that footage queued up, but this story is developing, and it's quite unfortunate that is where we are in the world today. But like I said, I'm not surprised, because when you have a culture that essentially trades in grievance, that is essentially what you're building up. Now, let me go to the chat. The chat, Intergalactic Wrangler says, Trump calling out BB incident was great. Called him crazy or something. Did you all catch that? I saw something akin to that. It's either we look at that during another live stream. I have other stories queued up, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to go through all of them. But you see, Trump calls out Israel or BB regularly. Last year, when Israel was still bombing the facilities in Iran, he went off and even used the F-bomb, during a press conference. So people who claim that Israel is controlling Trump, I don't know what world they live in. If someone controls you, you don't routinely call them out and force them to do what you want them to do. Trump tells them stop doing bombing runs, and Israel stops. So how is Israel controlling him? All right. Gardening says, let's see. Okay, that's not for public for me to read out. Okay. Then Intergalactic Wrangler says it's like they have no ability to rationalize. It's unfortunate, but do you know what? There are a lot of people who live that way. They don't have the ability to rationalize. And another person who shows that trait is this individual who confronted Nick Shirley in New York. All right, so while casually walking in New York City, a man goes unhinged by my presence. He yells and screams that I am Islamophobic and racist, but can't give one example. Let's have a listen.
You too. Thank you. How did I frame it? That was bullshit. There's a bunch of fucking racists over here. Bunch of fucking racists over here. Fuck you. Talk. Did I say silence? Be quiet. Yeah, that's what they want. That's what they want. Obey. What do you want to say? That's what they want. What do you want to say? I'm listening. Okay, how am I racist or Islamophobic? What do I got to pull up 90 clips of you? We saving taxpayer dollars. Saving taxpayer dollars. You know what, man? Fuck you. And get out of New York, man. No, you should come. Stay in Florida. Where are you from? Where do you live? America.
He claims that Nick Shirley framed the reporting on the daycare fraud happening in Minnesota in an Islamophobic way. And then now he's being asked, okay, so what did I do or say that was racist and problematic? He can't give one. And then he does the classic thing that most of the leftists do. Do you need me to pull out the 90 clips of you saying it? No. Simply tell me when I said it, what I said. Whenever I give these reports or cover commentary, and I talk about things that people have said, I literally try to quote them. And you know what? If I find the videos, the quotes tend to be as close to what actually was said as possible, because I try to be truthful. Now, we have a culture on the left that allows people to make things up, because leftist politicians, the Democrats, make things up routinely. And when people who vote for them see, oh, I guess it's okay to make things up for about people we disagree with, they go ahead and do the same thing in the wild. So you have this random person, he's dragging his dog, he's not walking his dog. That dog, I don't think the dog wants to be owned by this guy. Because he literally, throughout this video, he's dragging the dog. So he's dragging his dog, and he is triggered by the presence of someone who disagrees with him. This is truly a mental illness. I don't know you. I just saw your video and I think you're such a horrible person. And I'm like, okay, fine. Have you followed his content? Have you watched everything? You're convinced that he's racist? Yes, he's racist. Okay, give the examples you found of things that I've said, and he can't do it.
What makes you so upset? Fuck you too. Seriously, fuck you. You're lucky. You know, it's really smart you have a fucking bodyguard. It's really fucking smart. Yeah, you're right. Because there are crazy people like me that don't like racists.
Yeah, so the left again, and when I say the left, I mean the left, the far left, the crazy unhinged left like he is, know that the bodyguards that conservative content creators and commentators have to hire are justified because they genuinely want to hurt us. It's a fact. And now, guys, let me know in the chat, do you find this problematic like I do? That the leftists can walk around safely around conservatives and not be threatened, but conservatives can't even walk down the street and have a good faith conversation with a leftist and not fear for their life. We thought it was a joke until September happened with Charlie Kirk. So it's sad. It saddens me. It bothers me. But this is where we are.
That would fucking do something about it. That would do something. Oh my God, dude. You want to pull 90 clips for you? Pull one clip. One clip. Pull one. Hey, Nick Shirley's there's all the fucking racists over here. All I've done is save you money. Fuck you. All I've done is save you money.
The only thing he can say.
You don't have to save us anymore. All I've ever shown is where our money's going. Yo, fuck you. Was the fraud not real? The fraud's not real. Not the way you framed it. Not the way you framed it. Sure. Sure isn't.
Okay, so I don't know what video he was watching. I watched the videos with Nick covering the fraud in Minnesota. And what does he mean framing? What does he mean framing? Do you think that Nick essentially framed the people who were slamming doors in his face and didn't want to answer any questions about signing up kids to a daycare? Is it framing that he went to the daycare or in the morning when kids were supposed to be there and there were no kids? And essentially, kids started getting bussed into the daycares a couple of days after when the story broke. Now, is it framing that most of those daycares that he covered conveniently shut down? And now we're having prosecutions and convictions going on. Is it framing? So as far as he's concerned, catching people who are stealing taxpayer money is Islamophobic and racist. This is a useful idiot, okay? He's living in the greatest city in the world. Of course, we don't know how long that will be with me or Mamdani. And he is living in the greatest country in the world. And he essentially hates his country. Because when people are pillaging and stealing from your country, you should be offended and demand justice. But as far as he's concerned, justice is racist.
Dude, you live in a fucking democracy, man. There's gonna be fucking things that fall through the cracks sometimes. It's not the way you frame it. How? What have you done different? How do you help society? Oh, I help society? Okay. I want you to go into any leftist organization, show them my photo, they'll know who I am. Okay, makes perfect sense. That doesn't make sense. Hey, give me one clip about me being racist, huh? Oh, no, it's got this guy. I have a fucking rec league basketball game at 7, walking the fucking dog.
You're dragging your dog. Look at the dog is dragged.
Look at what you're treating your dog. My dog's fine. My dog's fine. Yeah.
The dog is being dragged.
Look at the dog. He's afraid of him. Yeah, the dog's fine. Well, you want to say hi? Want to say hi to Nick Shirley? Yeah, but explain how I'm racist. Want to say hi to Nick Shirley? Oh my God, what? Give me one example. Give me one example, sir. Oh my God, bro. I gotta fucking go. Fuck you, though. You don't give examples. Silence and obey. Silence and obey. Go hang out the leaders, why don't you? Yo, someone's gonna fucking find you. I promise you. For what?
And then he makes a sign. He's too far to see. Then he makes a sign of someone shooting Nick Shirley in the neck. All right, so does this bother you like it bothers me? All right, now this is Friday, and this is usually when I try to do a roundup of some of the most pressing stories. And let's talk about Delaney Hall. All right, now there's the update with Delaney Hall is that the city has announced that they are essentially pulling back all of the police support because of maybe they think it's not necessary, or maybe because of this. I think this was last night. The mostly peaceful protesters.
Back up! Get back! 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 Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up!
The mostly peaceful protesters. Now let's remember that that the curfew was lifted. I think the curfew was lifted two days ago, and so all of the crazies came back out to play, and the city essentially has caved to the far left once again because first off they had the curfew, all of the crazies ran and hid, and then they now they're pulling back police protection from ICE.
Back up! Nobody come here! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Let her go! Let her go! Let her go! Let's go, Brad! Back up! Back up! We know you two are the aggressive.
Well, so this other video was making the rounds, and is just to I'm gonna play this, and then we talk about a couple of things about what's going on with all these protests at ICE facilities.
Individuals that came in from Portland, not from New Jersey, came from Portland to lead. We've seen that they've been well supplied. We've seen Antifa flags being flown. And once the state police came out, and which, by the way, awesome group of guys, they understand crowd control very well. And they started pushing the individuals back after they warned them, started making arrests. You saw that the situation quickly got under control. And for us, when we first started calling, they were simply saying they didn't have the resources. And it's interesting to me that they finally found the resources and started clearing their streets.
Well, they've essentially loosened those resources and the crazies are back out. Now, there was a report that there's a $1 billion annual revenue of these organizations like Antifa that go out there and protest. They literally pay these people to sit and protest all year long. And my question to you in the chat is this. If you have such a committed enemy that has fundraised $1 billion to protest and to obstruct a federal law which is meant to secure your elections, secure your borders, and to protect American citizens. And this group is well funded with a war chest of $1 billion. And they openly fly the flag of their ideologies. They have Palestinian flags, Mexican flags, Venezuelan flags. They have the Hamas and Hezbollah flags flying. And they are doing this in your country and they are well funded. What do you think the response of the American government ought to be in a common sense world? All right. What do you think the American government should do about this in a common sense world? Now, I don't know. There's so much happening in the United States that is hard to cover. Now, there's the situation with Graham Plattner, but I want to read this chat, okay? Chat by Intergalactic Wrangler. Intergalactic says, speaking to the story that we covered with the gentleman outside of the court calling a white person a cracker. He said, the problem is if you call me a cracker, my feelings aren't hurt. But if you call a black person the N-word, they get bent out of shape and hurt. And why is that? It is, like I said, it is grievance. It is inherited grievance. It's this thing where a lot of black people in America have been essentially indoctrinated into allowing the use of that N-word as long as it's coming from another tribe to become such a harmful, hurtful thing. Meanwhile, they use it routinely within their communities. Black people call each other the N-word routinely. So how come it's such a huge crime? And that is where the inconsistency comes in. It's bad for a white person to call the black person the N-word. Oh, it's such a horrible, hateful thing. Oh, but when a black person does it to another black person, it's a term of endearment. And that same spirit of inconsistency can be seen across board with leftists. All right? Oh, wow, we don't need borders, but you put borders around your house every single time. Every night you shut your borders because people shouldn't come into your home. All right, so you love open borders like we saw yesterday. All right, we're going to get a bunch of these illegals and we're going to ship them to your house since you want to take care of them. Oh no, I have to talk to my husband. Oh no, that's not going to work. So is that inconsistency that we continue to run into? And whenever you have someone who is inconsistent, it's very clear that that you're not having a good faith conversation with them. And that is a huge problem because you can't build a society with people you can't have a good faith conversation with. They are going to find ways of subverting everything that you hold dear in order to gain the advantage over you. And speaking of double standards, Graham Plattner. So here are a bunch of Maine voters essentially trying to let us know what they think about.
Senator
election's Tuesday. Who are you voting for?
Janet Mills. Susan Collins.
I will not be voting for Susan Collins.
Plattner.
Well, I'm not sure.
Would you consider voting for Plattner?
No, N-O.
What's your opinion of him?
I don't trust him.
That's the only Nazi the Democrats are okay with.
A sexist and a racist.
He's reasonable.
He's more of a down-to-earth Mainer.
I feel like he's one of us.
He's got a Nazi tattoo, says he's a communist,
Right.
he's involved in a sexting scandal.
Right.
You do all that?
No, I do none of that.
Did you know Graham Plattner has a tattoo?
I know he has lots of tattoos.
Love a king with tattoos. I do like tattoos.
Do you like Nazi tattoos?
No.
He has a Nazi tattoo.
What? Where?
On his.
Do you believe that she didn't know? Do you believe she didn't know? She's on the internet. It's all over the place. I can't get it out of my algorithm. I've been trying to avoid this story all week. I just had to talk about it today because it's all over my algorithm. How come she didn't know? Don't they talk about it on TDSBC and CNN?
Nipple.
No. Oh.
I don't think Graham Plattner is a fascist.
But he has a Nazi tattoo.
He does, yeah.
And, oh yes, the Hitler dog thing. Okay, the dog thing is bull. Great, I thought so.
Plattner's involved in a sexting scandal. He sent nudes. He was sexting dozens of women while he's married. Is that good judgment?
I think that's being a human being. Maybe their sex life at home isn't good enough.
No, it's not good judgment.
If my husband did that, he would no longer be my husband.
I wouldn't be put in that situation. For me and Gilmore, we wouldn't do that.
He also said people from Maine are dumb mother effers. You guys dumb mother effers?
Dumb motherfuckers. Hell no.
He is. He's in Maine.
We have a bunch of ignorant, stupid people in Maine. He's absolutely correct.
Guess what? When you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you go out there and work and harvest the ocean responsibly. You're not a dumb motherfucker.
Graham Plattner, you are the dumb motherfucker.
People in Maine are smart cookies.
Tough cookies, too.
Plattner describes himself as a communist. Does Maine need a communist senator?
Definitely not communist. Socialist, maybe.
Socialist is kind of cool, right?
Yeah. A little bit.
A little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
I don't think so.
Are you a communist?
Am I a communist? I'm a hippie.
I do not like that. I think I have to give it to other people. Yeah. Oh, no. What is that going to mean?
You work hard. You make a lot of money. Jimmy doesn't work that hard, but gets half of your money.
Really? I don't know. I don't know Jimmy.
Let's go, Jimmy. I'm not going to use foul language. Get your fat ass out of the couch.
He said that women who drink alcohol should accept responsibility if they were raped.
That. He's sexting a bunch of women. Why doesn't he have real conversations with those women?
You need to accept responsibility for your actions.
I think that's a shameful response.
I don't care.
Isn't that what the president said?
And like I've said repeatedly, I think he's going to win the election in Maine. Yes, there are a lot of things coming out. I don't know. And we're going to talk about the elections, okay, because we're going to look at the elections in California and some of the controversy that's going on there. But with all of the stuff that's coming out about Graham Plattner, and he's still being backed by the Democrats and people like the other guy that's supporting him, there are voters who will vote him no matter what. You could catch him red-handed doing the most awful things, and they will still vote for him because Trump bad.
Said too?
What did he say?
Donald Trump says a lot of things.
But you just said he said that.
I'm going to back up.
Give me a break.
Hold on. I need to back up to catch this.
I don't care.
Isn't that what the president said too?
What did he say?
Donald Trump says a lot of things.
But you just
Exactly. The same leftist talking points. They make an accusation. Okay, so what did he say? And then they don't have any. All they do is throw out accusations and everybody agrees that Trump is a bad person.
just said he said that.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
Plattner said a Purple Heart vet deserves to die. What do you have to say to Graham Plattner?
There's no words for that.
Seems out of character for a...
Seems real out of character for him.
Yeah, it does. To me, it does.
My kind of people.
He's an oyster farmer. His mommy bought him his business. His daddy bought him his house.
Yeah, I like the way you shade that too, mommy and daddy. Why don't you just say his parents?
Did your daddy buy you your house?
He did.
I'll be darned. That's amazing.
Susan Collins, she's been your senator for a very long time, basically a Democrat. What's wrong with her?
Guess we're kind of stuck with her.
She's always very concerned about things.
She votes with Donald Trump every chance she gets.
She voted to impeach him.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
TDSBC, guys. These are the people that have 3 meals with CNN, TDSBC, ABC, NBC, and for good luck, throw in some Al Jazeera.
What do you want to tell Jesse Waters? You're on his show.
Who's Jesse Waters?
Yeah, so Gardening says, I love the editing on this video. I like it too. Unless they're okay. So concerning the ICE protest that we covered moments ago, Gardening says unless there are federal charges against those crazies, they will just continue to riot and go after ICE. That is correct. The unfortunate thing is that when federal charges are levied against them, you're going to have the mainstream media claim that it is the weaponization of the justice system. Trump is sending a chilling message to anyone who speaks up and stands up to him. That's what they're going to do. And then the Democrats are going to say the same thing. All right. Now, concerning Graham Plattner, you see, the Democrats are just weird. Okay. So this is Chris Murphy. All right. Chris Murphy had a lot to say when Elon Musk waved to the crowd, and they said that that was a Sieg Heil Nazi salute. Okay? Like, just watch this, please.
What you saw is what you think you saw. Elon Musk did Heil Hitler salute. He did. And what you were talking about is maybe the most dangerous moment in modern American political history, whereas there is a sense of endorsement from Elon Musk and a sense of entitlement and immunity given to people who are contemplating acts of violence against politicians, but specifically Democrats. And so all of our lives got put in jeopardy by what Elon Musk did on Monday night and what Donald Trump did the next day with those pardons. He sounds like a human being to me, a human being.
So the first one is Elon, and then here's Chris Murphy confronted with the fact that this person that you're endorsing has a literal Hitler death camp Nazi salute on his chest, and he knew full well what it was, and he still put it on his chest anyway. And here's his response, his mealy-mouthed, two-faced response.
Who made mistakes,
it's a mistake.
Recognizes them and is very open about it. But yeah, certainly, I'm looking forward to sitting down and talking to him about it. He's obviously, right now performing very well in the polls in Maine. He's talking a language that speaks to a lot of middle-class voters, a lot of Trump voters that, frankly, are looking for Democrats that understand working-class concerns.
So what do you think, guys? Do you think he's right? Do you think the Democrats are right to sweep this under the rug? Do you think that he's going to lose or he's going to win based on the evidence? Now, our favorite Democrat, John Fetterman, had this to say about Graham Plattner.
On Graham Plattner.
P. Hustle.
P. Hustle.
That's what you call him? Yeah, yeah. That's what you're calling him? Oh, no, that's how he described himself, P. Hustle. That's his name. I mean, the MSN folks, you love P. Hustle? And on MSN now? Because he's awesome, right? Was it the Nazi tattoo? Is it the insults and the kick account?
How do you think Democrats should handle this? He's likely to become the Democratic nominee for the Senate next week.
Some Democrats will defend that mess. I will not. So it's really up to Maine voters. So the people on MS Now, they want to defend a guy with a Nazi tattoo? Okay. If he want to defend a guy that describes the American Army as absolute trash, okay. If P. Hustle said that a Purple Heart awardee is a dumb that doesn't deserve to live, okay. You know, a guy that was probably dropping pics for a decade on Kick. Why is P. Hustle on Kick? I mean, Kick has serious issues, lack of kinds of controls, a lot of underage people. It's really been controversial. Why was he on it for a decade?
Why do you think?
I mean, that's a question. I mean, who's investigating why? I mean, was he sure that he was only talking to, you know, women that are old enough? I mean, what was his protocol? How could he be sure?
Are you concerned that there's more to drop?
Well, he lied to everybody. He said that there wasn't any after his Nazi tattoo situation. And now there's more and more of the things. So he's already lied about that. So I assume, you know, it's like they say, for every ranch you see in Texas, there's 50 that you haven't seen. So I'm sure there's a lot of more ranches in P. Hustle's life.
Oh my goodness. So Grand Partner, P. Hustle is I don't know, there's so much going on there. Now the question of the ages is, will anyone vote for him? Now the situation in California is weird because California, is trying to convince us now. Has the count been completed? I'm sorry, I didn't check before we went live, but California is still trying to convince every one of us that you need 2 weeks to count the elections of just a few million people. Meanwhile, you have instant election results in most parts of the civilized world, because there's such a thing called technology. Let's have a listen.
So first, just fact check for us what the president is saying about the delay in results.
Alex, it's completely normal here in California for it to take at least a few days.
It's normal. It's normal for California to rig the elections. Now, I'm going to play what CNN said, and we're going to break down the the implications of what CNN unveiled about how California regularly counts their elections.
Not longer than that to know the final results here, especially in a race like this where there's some 61 names on the ballot for governor, and just given the sheer volume of mail-in ballots across the state. And this timeline is something that the Secretary of State here in California actually laid out and level set expectations before Election Day. But there is a deadline today, 2 days after Election Day, where county officials have to tell the California Secretary of State estimates of how many vote totals they still need to count, how many unprocessed ballots there are. So that will give us some additional sense of direction here.
Okay, and look, they aren't projecting winners, losers at this point, of course, but what's the latest on the race, the two big ones for governor and LA mayor?
Yeah, so in the governor's race, there's a little more than half of the expected votes have been counted so far. Steve Hilton, the Republican in the race, who Trump has actually endorsed, is in the lead so far, followed by Javier Becerra, the former.
All right, so essentially, TDSBC, no matter how much they try to get us to call them MS Now, they will always be TDSBC. They are running cover for the ineptitude of California because they are essentially in league with the Democrat Party. They are the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party, and the Democrat Party can do no wrong. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Democrat propaganda machine, CNN is saying the quiet part out loud without knowing they're saying the quiet part out loud.
Election day was Tuesday, and still only 56% of the votes in the governor's primary have been processed. Right now, Republican Steve Hilton and Democrats Javier Becerra, Tom Steyer are battling for the top two spots in advance of the general election. Now, if this count looks familiar to you, it's because it's nearly identical to the one we showed you at this time yesterday. For California voters or political junkies like us, it's frustrating. But I just want to be clear, it is not unusual for California.
Jeff Greenfield, we are making calls on the California races.
Now, for some reason, this snippet here is showing us that in the 90s, Californian elections were called out. Sorry, the results of the elections were called out the same night. What happened?
Going to the boards now. CNN is declaring that when all is said and done, Barbara Boxer will have saved her seat in the United States Senate as a Democrat from California.
In the California governor's race, Gray Davis, this is a pickup for the Democrats, a big win, the biggest state in the country.
Is not a sign of fraud. President Trump is using the slow pace to sow misinformation about election integrity, writing today, quote, there's big cheating by Democrats in California under investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles.
So a bunch of us are writing exams, and then everyone else is done with their exams, and they pick up their sheets and they submit their sheets and walk out the hall. And then there's this one guy. It's always this one guy. He always hangs back in the exam hall and spends an extra 30 minutes at his desk pretending to be chewing his pen. And when everyone walks out, the examiners pretend like they're going out to get a smoke or something. And then he always has a window where he can pull out a textbook or something to cheat, and then he submits his results. And everybody is supposed to pretend like that's not happening. And then when you say, hey, this guy is always hanging back, and at the end of every exam, he always seems to do the best of the entire class. How is that possible? Meanwhile, we all know he never studies, he never works hard, but yet he keeps scoring the highest. He doesn't participate in the class, and yet he continues to pass his exams and beat every single one of us who studies every night and who literally engages the classes during every lecture. What gives? And then the teacher says, you guys are sowing misinformation. That's exactly what CNN has just done. I hope I was able to paint that picture.
Why the vote counting delay? Our panel is back here. Patrick, as we discuss this and just kind of put a finer point on it, not to say that it's not, as I said, frustrating and sort of inconceivable that it takes so long. It is not new. If you look at past elections, going back to 2010, Kamala Harris won after 22 days. 2018, 30 days for key House race with Valadao to be called. LA mayoral race, Karen Bass was on the ballot then. It took 8 days. U.S. House 3rd District, 14 days. 45th District of the U.S. House took 21 days.
Yeah, we tend to say in California it's not election day, but it's maybe election week or election month. But there are some reasons for that. But at a big picture level, it's the most populous state in the country. They have a very expansive use of mail-in ballots, and they have Democratic leadership there that have passed laws in hopes of making it easier to vote over recent years and legislative sessions. And so,
Democrats have passed laws to make it easier to vote or easier to cheat.
That leads us to where we're at now. I thought it was interesting that the Democratic governor there, Gavin Newsom, sent a letter to county election officials earlier this month, kind of seeing this firestorm coming and saying, please make sure that you're counting every lawful ballot as quickly as possible. And he acknowledged in that letter, this lag time in between election day and when races are called in our state does lead to the spreading of mis and disinformation. And so that just shows, even Democratic leadership in California knows that this is an issue and that it can be seized on upon Republicans, including the president, like you just saw on the screen there.
Yeah, led by the president. This is the same dynamic that we saw back in 2020 when states took longer to vote. It looked like Republicans were doing better at the beginning. They tend to vote earlier. The votes tend to be counted just culturally, not even sure why, tend to be counted first. And then
now that's the quiet part she just said out loud without knowing she said it out loud. Republicans vote early, or at least they tend to vote first, but I don't know if that's true, because during the last election, there was a huge push for Republicans to vote early. And that was what Charlie Kirk and Scott Presler and everyone else who was pushing for Republicans to go out to vote kept saying, go out and vote early, go out and vote early. So I don't think that is true. But the second thing she says, which is important for us to take note of, is she said that Republican votes tend to be counted first. Now, why is that? It's a question. Why is that? Could it be that it's counted first so that the Democrats know exactly how much to buffer their own count in order to beat Republicans? Why don't they get counted simultaneously? Why don't you have two groups counting who are in silos? Like, guys, I'm from a third world country and I can think this thing through. And the greatest country in the world can't figure out how to get people to count in silos in order to have a sanitized election process. Count in silos. Let no one know what the actual count is, and then release the numbers at the same time. Okay? And then once you release the numbers at the same time, it's more like, oh, okay, so this is the actual result. Not know what one party's count is and then go and count the other party. That doesn't make any sense to me. And look, I'm a black kid from Nigeria. Nigeria has its own election problems, God knows. And do you know what? We look to America to show us how it's done, how it should be done. And hearing this is just insane. All right, we're going to be stopping at there was another story that we wanted to cover, but we'll do it on Sunday night. All right, we'll cover it on Sunday night. Now, I'm going to read the chat. Intergalactic Wrangler says California is lost. Look, I'm an optimist, but a lot has to change before California can be saved. You have Democrats actively voting into law things that make it easier for their party to cheat. You have them normalizing election month and they're laughing about it, but that is an aberration. It shouldn't be happening, but they're supporting it. And they're like, if you say anything otherwise, like President Trump is saying, Dana Bash here says he's sowing misinformation. So, and then when you and I say it, look, because we don't have a large enough platform and we don't have a large enough voice, we're ignored and we're looked at as, as strange creatures that that don't belong in civilization. But this is exactly the problem that we're facing. Will California change? Well, first, the conservative voters need to stand up. All right, they need to stand up. Intergalactic Wrangler says, keep an eye out on the war news. Crazy Ash is about to go down. I think I'm so far behind on news from 2 days away. I have been looking at the Iran situation. It has been strangely muted. Strangely. There's a ceasefire, but there are bombs flying. This has been the strangest ceasefire I've ever seen. There's a ceasefire and Iran is firing bombs. Other countries in the in the Middle East are firing bombs at Iran. Israel is routinely lobbing bombs at Lebanon. It's a weird ceasefire. So we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. As soon as anything pops off, we'll talk about it. Now, thanks for hanging around. This is where I give the update on my situation. Now, I want to thank you all for being so supportive. If you're watching for the first time, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing the video. This is a Friday, and most people hang out with their families on Friday. You guys are trying to do two things at once: hang out with family and hang out with the rest of us here while we cover the stories here on the live stream. Thank you so much. Now, I'm going to take just a few minutes of your time to give you a quick update. Now, I posted on the 24/7 live stream, and I said that, let me read what I said. Just got back from the meeting with the state, waiting for updates from their call with the federal level. I should be able to update you all tonight with their findings. Now, what they found was what I suspected they would find, that there was nothing they could do. And that all of the, I'm an optimist, but I like to look at things at face value. And I felt that it was going to come to me still leaving, but I just wanted to satisfy all of the requirements. Okay. Make sure I have all the information I need, do everything that I need to do, and then still have to go. But they have promised that when I arrive in Nigeria and apply for a work permit and visa to get back into Canada, that they would be pushing for an expedited processing. So we have to go by their word, and that's what we're going to do. So it's not a huge groundbreaking update. It's what we've already it's what we've been expecting, and they basically gave us that update, and it's fine. All right, it's fine. Now, Intergalactic Wrangler, you're saying we should check out the Enforcer on YouTube, live war news, and he's accurate. Now, let me ask the question. Is he showing something right now that you think I should put up on the screen? I just want to know. Is there a live report that you think we should be considering? Because if there is, I would love for us to share this moment, just this last look, because I always tell you guys, to send me stories. Hold on, let me see if I can. Let's see. Okay. All right. So this is the channel I found. So in Intergalactic, you're going to have to confirm that that's the same channel. Let's see. Check out Enforcer YouTube. Yeah. Also, Canadian Prepper has been very accurate over the last 2,000 days. They go live a lot. Never know what you're going to get. Okay. Yeah. So he's in the background right now playing. I just took a listen. And yes, there's been a lot of movement on the conflict front. And this is a funny thing with the news. Many times, the news is only big when there's a lot of explosions or big things to talk about. And no one is talking about Iran just yet because there's other things happening in the United States. But I think you're right. We also have to pay attention to this because as much as I love the GOP, as much as not the GOP, but let's say conservative policies, okay? Conservative policies, sometimes the GOP is great at it, sometimes they mess up. Or the people who are meant to be a part of the GOP, they just don't do what they're supposed to be doing. Now, there are times when they drop the ball. We should be able to call that out. And we should be able to ask the question. Let's see. Intergalactic Wrangler says, and I'm going to put it up on the screen, I fear Iran already has a nuke. I can't prove it yet. Look, the people who are currently running the IRGC are fighting for their lives. Okay? Look, it might sound like it's a no-brainer. Yeah, it's war. They're fighting for their lives. But no, people actually who are saying, hey, Trump has to negotiate a peace deal so that there can be peace. They don't understand what's going on. One, Trump has made it clear you cannot have a nuclear weapon. Two, the last let's call it the last 100 days has essentially depleted the IRGC's capacity to wage significant war on their enemies. So they know that they are depleted. They know that even if they are let alone by themselves, America will not truly back off. I know that we want to believe that our world leaders, like the United States, are very, very nice and honest people. But when it comes to war, things are done that aren't very nice. And for the Trump administration to be sure that Iran never gets their hands on a nuke, they have to take some drastic steps. A lot of these people who have been holding the IRGC together know that it's only a matter of time and they will be taken out. So I've said that to set a backdrop. The backdrop is this. It's a fight for survival. And just like Intergalactic Wrangler has said, there is a very strong possibility that they have been trying to get their hands on a nuke as a deterrent. It's also very likely, and I'm going to say this, and it's just a speculation, okay? I don't have any information, but it's likely that the Trump administration knows that they have that nuke. What do you think? Do you agree? Because there's some movement that's happened over the last few days that is like, okay, bombs are flying here and there, but all of a sudden there's just been this contraction in the coverage of Iran. It's almost like there's a pullback in the coverage of Iran, like all around. CNN, everyone isn't pushing it as much. And yet bombs are flying. So what's going on? I don't know if I'm overthinking it. All right. So let
the war restarts. Israel has also been seen to come over under a rocket attack today as well near Kiryat Shimona, and we've also seen some major developments in the war in Ukraine over the course of the day. And when I mean major, folks, I mean absolutely major. The Russian Federation has completely run out of fuel in Crimea. That's not an exaggeration. That is not trying to make a nice title to get people in. They literally ran out today. There is no fuel available for anybody except for emergency services and government officials, meaning that there's nothing left.
Yeah, honestly, it's a total infrastructure collapse. That's the best way to describe it inside of Crimea. It was already bad enough with the gasoline shortages, but now even if you have a gasoline voucher inside of Crimea, they will not sell you the gasoline. They've halted gasoline sales inside of Crimea. We're also seeing today for the first...
So Intergalactic Wrangler says, we have been sending massive amounts of troops in. Exactly. Like, no one is talking about those troop movements. The noise that the Democrats have been making from the start of the war has been largely muted. Are they focusing rather on the elections, on the gerrymandering, or is there something they know as well? Because no matter what you think about the way the Democrats behave, I've said it before, these are very intelligent people. And even if they say stupid things, those stupid things are said intentionally. I've said for months that you should look at politics like the WWE. It's all an act. It's all about getting certain goals achieved. Okay, some of them do certain things, and some of them genuinely hate the people on the other side, no question. But there are things that are a red line. It's a no. Like whenever things like war and conflict are taking place, like they need to be very careful about how they begin to talk about what's going on, especially when there's an active conflict in the Middle East. a bunch of them, like Rashida Tlaib and a few others, have been very reckless about their conversations, but they've only said enough just to kind of push against the line a little. Hear these politicians attack Trump and call him all kinds of names. And I've always asked myself the question, how come they never get charged or prosecuted for libel or taken to court or sued? And I put it on ChatGPT one time, or Claude, and he basically responded and said, the things said are hyperbole, so they are not essentially seen as libel. So if you try to sue anyone based on what they said during an election, it wouldn't take. It's all hyperbole. So they frame their words very carefully, so they can't be sued. And they're all very smart people. So let's not be confused. It's easy for us to be bamboozled by all of the crazy things they say, but they are all very smart people, including, is a painful admission, Hakeem Jeffries. They are all very smart people. They are all highly intelligent people. They know what they're doing, and that makes it very concerning when they do and say the things they do, in my opinion.
Concept of even getting into a peace agreement with Zelensky and say that's completely pointless.
So he's still talking about Russia. Now, thank you for turning me on to this guy. I'm going to be listening to his content and maybe feature him in future live streams. I don't know why this is happening now. My feed is breaking and reconnecting for some reason. Intergalactic Wrangler says, I don't think they're going in for no reason. We backed off so fast. It's concerning. You make a valid point. Intergalactic Wrangler, you make a valid point. Because that's a question that everyone should be asking. So what's changed? Of course, but Intergalactic Wrangler, a lot of people said that it was because the 90-day limit on the war powers thing had expired, so Trump couldn't actively engage in combat. That was what they said. So like you said, it's concerning, and everyone should be keeping their eyes open. Okay, so all right. So I'm going to be ending the stream here because this is a bonus, and I'm going to be copying the link to this video and sharing it with you guys in the chat. Oops, my bad. I'm going to be copying this and sharing it with you guys in the chat so that you can have Trump gave BB hell. Okay, sorry. All right, so that's the link to this live stream that's on my background. That's why Trump gave BB hell. Okay. Ooh. Intergalactic Wrangler. That was naughty. Okay. Good, accurate stuff with the enforcer. Okay, fine. I've shared the link. You guys can head on over there and follow that content. Now, people who don't know me would believe that if the Trump administration did something that was considerably evil, that I would continue to support that evil. No, I would not do that. We would call it out and we would essentially say this is wrong. And I hope to be as forthright and as honest as I can be about these things, because there are things that we don't know, okay? We can't just blindly trust anyone who's in government. It's easy to just hand over the keys and decide that everything is fine. So we do have to be very careful. All right, we do have to be very careful, make sure we have all the information that we need, including when we're going after the Democrats for the insane things they say. I play these videos, and I always try to play videos that these are actual evidence of what they've done and said. I don't make anything up, okay? And when I give a quote, I make sure that it's something that they actually said, all right? I haven't done a video in a while on the main channel. And one of the videos that I was planning, I was talking about a certain politician, and I had the option of using hearsay or using an actual quote of something that he was documented to actually have said. And I had to choose to use the documented only, because people say stuff and they make up things all the time against their political enemies. The Democrats do it regularly, and the Republicans do it regularly. So it's not anything new, okay? It's not like the Republicans don't do this, or some Republicans don't do this. They do. So we have to be able to call them out. And because we tend to call out our own side, they tend to behave themselves, okay? But the Democrats have raised a voting class that's okay with lying and making up things. Yeah, so all right, so guys, we've gone over an hour. Sorry that I dragged you guys down this rabbit hole, but sorry, I'm mumbling. I've given you the update on next steps. I'll let you know. I'll post something on the channel or next live stream on Sunday night. I'll give you guys the timeline of when I'm leaving and everything. I may not be I'll just let you know I'm leaving and what the next steps are. The 24/7 live stream is going. You guys keep popping in there and leaving and encouraging words and so on. Just you being there is fine and encouraging. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Intergalactic Wrangler, thank you. Gardening, thank you. Everyone else who was lurking and not chatting, thank you. I dual streamed today on both YouTube channels intentionally. I wanted to leave a present for everyone who's subscribed on the main YouTube channel. I haven't created any new videos recently. I've been putting in more effort into these live streams, but the recent distraction with the immigration process has actually nixed any time or drive that I have with any new content that I want to create. So I'm going to work on that and see how we can get that done. Gardening, thank you so much for the great job. Thank you, Intergalactic Wrangler. You guys rock. We're going to continue to do great stuff. And hopefully tonight's news selection was fine. I was feeling really tired today with everything that's been happening and having an early meeting today. But I do hope that we had a good enough show for you guys. Okay. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. And God bless you. And I will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.